What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome back to Top Bins, the show bringing you everything from around the world of the beautiful game, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. But we're back, the official footy podcast here on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. KB, Mark, Harrison, back in the fold. Another wonderful week for some of us in the Premier League. Mark is focused on Champions League, obviously. Big things going. We're going to dive into both. Plus, we have an update on the FA Cup start times because by the time we put out last week's episode, they updated the times there. And, of course, our Philadelphia Union, baby. Best team in the league. Best team in the league. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials. It's at FC Top Bins on Twitter and TikTok and at Top Bins Pod on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It really does go a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Plus, when this show grows, it gets into the algorithm and lets more people find all of the shows on our podcast network. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify and leave those 5-star reviews. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And smash that bell icon so you know whenever new videos and streams go live. We're at 1,034 subscribers. We have a big-time stream session coming up this coming Sunday for Selection Sunday, which we'll get into as well later on in the show that you won't want to miss. A whole bunch of our creators will be on that stream breaking down the bracket, plus Underground Madness announcement. Can't wait. So keep subscribing to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And of course, this show is powered by our friends over at Classic Football Shirts. We love Classic Football Shirts. They are the go-to destination to make sure that your wardrobe is in tip-top shape to support your favorite clubs. And one of my favorite things, I peruse this website on the daily. One of my new favorite things to do is just look at their weekly deals, which are just huge limited time discounts that are below your typical price tier. It's available for 1 week only. They change it every single week. And right now, while I'm looking at it, they got the 2024-2025 Inter Miami third shirt, Messi, $63.99 on sale right now. Plus, they've got everything for you for your Champions League teams that are still alive, like Mark's Arsenal squad. They've got some beautiful stuff online there. For Arsenal, I check every week to see the new Brighton stuff. But check out Classic Football Shirts. Use our link in the description. It helps the show. When you use our link, it lets Classic Football Shirts know that you're coming from us. And we thank Classic Football Shirts for sponsoring the program. What's going on, boys? A wonderful week in the Premier League for some. Mark, Champions League, you are well on your way. Obviously, that was kind of determined last week, but a nice little, round into form for some of the guys that typically don't get to play on that stage. But we will start in the Premier League, where Man City, it's not looking good for them right now. Excuse me. They fall 1-0 to Mark's agenda squad, Nottingham Forest, who, again, still proving Mark's point, they can't really score. But they just play really exceptional defense when it counts, and they win 1-0 home to Man City. I mean, that's a huge win for Nottingham Forest to kind of just keep pushing on in this dream season that they're having right now. But Man City's got quite a few teams breathing down their necks now as they fall to 5th in the table. They're tied in points with Newcastle. My Brighton boys are 1 point behind them. Villa's 2 points behind them. Bournemouth 3 points behind them. I mean, not looking all too well for Man City right now. But that just means, as we say this, we'll be sitting here next week, and I'll be like, "What the fuck happened?" As who do they have next? None other than Brighton.
Yeah, no, their downslide is something that's beautiful to watch. Uh, as one of the biggest Man City haters out there, I just love watching them lose. And to get back to Nottingham, they have something that other clubs like Chelsea don't have. That's good defense, good goalkeeping. They are allowed to not score as much because they know that their back line and their number one in the net is going to be able to keep the goals out, and that will allow them to continue on their hot streak. And I don't know if that will come to an end at some point. They're playing the top clubs and they're getting pretty good results against them. So we're just gonna have to see if that continues to hold up. But I like how they look so far. And who knows? Maybe they're a Champions League club next year. Looks like it.
Shaping up that way. Mark, your
Yeah.
thoughts on the agenda?
My agenda's still saying they're not finishing the Champions League spots. I'm calling it now. I
Ooh.
still don't see him finish. I think they get Europe, but
Yeah.
I don't see him finishing. I see them finishing sixth at the highest.
It's going to be fascinating to watch. I want to see who they have upcoming real quick before we move to.
They have Ipswich next, and surely everyone can beat Ipswich, right?
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, they have Ipswich.
So funny and so current.
Then they play Brighton in the FA Cup quarterfinals. Then they're home to Man United to start April, at Villa, home to Everton, at Tottenham, and then home to Brentford for the month of April.
Okay, not a bad schedule for them. That's full of winnable games, especially the Tottenham one.
I mean, looking at their full schedule the rest of the way, like genuinely, their most difficult games are probably against Brighton in the FA Cup, which obviously doesn't count towards Premier League stuff, but and then away at Villa. Other than that, like the other teams they play the rest of the way after April, they're at Crystal Palace, which Crystal Palace has been playing really well, this second half of the season. So we'll see how that continues for them down the stretch. Then they're home to Leicester, at West Ham, and then they finish home to Chelsea.
Okay, so that home to Chelsea match could be supremely important for Champions League spots. Even though we're not playing well as of late, we still are fourth in the table.
For now.
For now, but fourth is fourth. We are in a Champions League spot as of right now. That could change later down the line if the goalkeeping stays dog shit and if our attack continues to fizzle. But if, things start going better, they start playing the way they were playing in late November, early December, we could be making a push for Champions League spots again. And if it comes down to it, that last match, it's at Stamford Bridge, right?
No,
it's at Nottingham.
It's at Nottingham. Okay, yeah, that could have some major implications at the end of the year, but that is barring a complete meltdown from both teams. So,
which,
just
saying,
Southampton had Liverpool in the first half. I'm not going to lie. But then Liverpool did what they had to do. They take care of business, win 3-1. I mean, not too much surprise there. Obviously, it was a bit of a shock that they were down for as long as they were, but they pull out the win there and take down Southampton. Speaking of Ipswich Town, Crystal Palace certainly able to beat Ipswich Town 1-0 at Crystal Palace. I am a supreme Crystal Palace hater for a multitude of reasons. I got to tip my cap, though. This second half of the season, like I mentioned, like they have been one of the better teams in terms of just form, results. They've been playing extremely well, and they're kind of like in that realm of like lower tier, not exactly relegation, obviously, but they're in that conversation where it's like you don't want to see, like we talked about last week, where you don't want to see Everton on your schedule right now with how they've been playing since the managerial change. I don't want to see Crystal Palace on the schedule right now if I'm a team looking down, the next couple of weeks on my schedule and I see them, I'm kind of, almost over preparing for them because they've been playing so well.
It's a classic case of hate the owner, not the team.
No,
While
I'll
we
hate the team
do
as a Brighton fan. I'll hate the
Oh,
team.
that's fair. But, I fuck with these players. They're playing out of their mind right now. They're really giving themselves a chance to move up in the table at least and have a good showing at the end of the year, which is a lot better than I would have thought they would be doing a couple months ago. And they're on the verge of the top 10 right now. They're
They're
3
11.
points off Fulham. 3 points off Fulham, 5 points off Bournemouth.
I mean,
They're
it
right
wasn't long
there.
ago that they were in like 16th.
Exactly. They're moving their way up in the world. And they've jumped Tottenham and United, which is always beautiful to see. Um, so
Yeah,
it's
they've been
fascinating
playing
to
really
watch
well.
them play. 4 out of the last 5 have been wins. Yeah, they're doing
Yeah, they've
real
been
well.
on a tear. And I mean, you look at their upcoming schedule too. Like, they've got Fulham in the FA Cup, but then they're away at Southampton April 2nd. Then nice little matchup against Brighton on April 5th. They're at Man City April 12th, at Newcastle April 16th, and then they're home to Bournemouth April 19th, and then they're at Arsenal April 26th. So April's a fucking heater of a month for their
Yeah.
schedule. So we're going to learn a lot about, just kind of seeing the way that they've been playing. Is it true to form, or has it kind of just been the competition, or is it a combination of both? But when you have a schedule in the month of April of outside of Southampton of Brighton, who's top 7, Man City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Arsenal, and then right after that, May 3rd, they're home to Nottingham Forest. That's a brutal stretch of games for Crystal Palace.
Well, they have a nice little brief from that tomorrow. They're playing Ham Cam in a club friendly, which is a team I have never heard of before. So maybe that'll get them set up for a nice little stretch of run here in the near future. Just get a nice little win over Ham Cam.
Yeah, they've got a brutal stretch upcoming. So enjoy it while you can, Crystal Palace. Speaking of Brighton, what a win for the boys. What a win for the boys against Fulham, 2-1. Joao Pedro is him. Swaggiest motherfucker alive. Gets that penalty in the extra time. First time in a decade that we've beaten Fulham. And this stretch of games for Brighton right now has just been some real sicko shit. They have been on a tear. Fulham had one shot on target, and it was the goal that they scored. Just masterclass all around. And Hertzler said it after the game. He was like, yeah, it was close, but like we knew we were going to win because we played like the only team out there who wanted to win the match. They're on fire right now, and massive test of Titans upcoming this coming weekend. But I mean, for a moment up until the Newcastle game happened, like Brighton was sitting top 6. They're 7th right now. I'm just in my glory right now. What a time. What a time to pick to be a fan of this squad.
Yeah, you picked a great time to pick your team. Like they're on the up and up. As you were talking about before we started recording, Matoma looks like he's set to sign until 2030. And that's your banner player right there. That's your guy that's going to stay with the club and really bring Brighton to where they need to be. And who knows, maybe next year you're contending for Champions League spots.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think we talked about a couple weeks ago when it was kind of taking shape, it looks like Premier League's going to get 5 spots in the Champions League next year. So top 5 is massive this year. If you finish, and then that's obviously just going to trickle down, the table and seeing who qualifies across the board down the stretch. Yep. But I mean, the way that Brighton's been playing has been so much fun to watch. And in the games, like even when they're down 1-0, they tie it up, and I'm watching the game and I'm just like, yeah, they're not losing. Like the way that they're playing, I'm just like, I'm so supremely confident in the way that they're playing right now that they could be down, but second half rolls around and the way that Hertzler pulls his substitutions, I'm like, he's just pushing all the right buttons right now. And that was a masterclass win. It's one of those things, and I know I keep bringing it up and comparing it to like this year's Eagles team, but it is like one of those things where it's like the Eagles couldn't beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, the Eagles couldn't beat the Ravens in Baltimore, and then they get over that hump and do it. They've beaten Fulham in a decade. We do it. We're pulling off all of these accomplishments that Brighton have waited years and years and years to do or have never done. And it's just so much fun to watch. And I'm juiced for this weekend against City.
Hopefully you beat the hell out of them. I'd love for the spot for fourth in the league to come down between Chelsea and Brighton.
Would be fun. Would be fun. Villa keeps making us look stupid because we keep saying the downfall is coming, but they just keep pushing the goalpost back. They win 1-0 at Brentford. Big time win for them. Kind of stay towards the top 10. I believe they are 8th now. So their biggest thing is they have a negative goal differential, which is hilarious. But nice win for them against Brentford. Wolves and Everton draw in the most Wolves and Everton matchup ever. Bournemouth and Tottenham draw 2-2. That's a huge result if you're Tottenham to pull even there in that one. Harrison, congrats. Tottenham. Congrats. You beat a relegation team. You did it.
Thank God. Thank God. For once, the goalkeeping didn't look like absolute dog shit, even though there were moments where I was like, oh my God, he's going to let in the stupidest goddamn goal I've ever seen in my life. No, they figured it out for what should have been an easy match, and somehow we still made it look hard.
You won a game that Cole Palmer didn't score.
It's a miracle. I need Cole Palmer to reappear. I need him to reappear. He's been missing for far too long. Maybe just needs to take a page out of Aaron Rodgers' book and just go do ayahuasca down in like South America or something.
Can you imagine Cole Palmer on ayahuasca?
He already has no brain cells.
I was gonna say the faces he would make would be spectacular.
My favorite Cole Palmer clip, I think when he just joined Chelsea and they were like doing like some FIFA promotion or EAFC, and then like somebody asked him a question and there's like a 7-second pause and he's like, "What?" It's so funny. I'll send it to the group chat after tonight. Yeah. It's so funny.
Wait. This isn't my chippy chips.
Him doing ayahuasca would just be the ultimate supplier of meme faces.
Oh, yeah. If we thought like Matthew Tkachuk or Dan Jones was the ultimate meme face in sports, Cole Palmer on ayahuasca would take the cake by a mile.
I mean, we could either do Cole Palmer on ayahuasca or we could just get him on Hot Ones and see how long he would last. Those faces would suffice as well.
A British person going on Hot Ones would kill them.
He might
surprisingly Harry Kane survived.
I know, but like they made him actually speak proper English. You can understand him.
He might get his Nando's extra hot. You never know.
Dude, a sniff of the last dab would kill a Victorian child. Like,
heavens, what is this?
It cause another plague.
God, we probably need. We need one. We need another one.
You know who should have gone on Hot Ones because he wasn't playing? Marcus Rashford should have just gone on Hot Ones while he was away from United. That would have been. Man United fans would have been on a different level. That would have.
Well, they already hate him as it is, so
would have been impeccable. But a good win for Villa, like I said. Tottenham draws 2-2. Chelsea 1-0 over Leicester. Speaking of United, Mark, what happened?
What happened?
We were just bad. Oh, I wouldn't say we were bad. I'd just say I expected a drop off after the PSV game and everything. Um, I felt like we were the better team overall. But Bruno Fernandes always seems to score against us or provide an assist. And he just happened to do it again. I mean, his free kick was good. Sometimes you just can't. I do have complaints about Raya. I think he was a little shaded too much to the other side. And then I think if he was in the middle, he could have saved it. I'm not gonna go on about the ref, the wall being an extra yard back than normal. I don't give two shits about that. Even if it was 1 yard, I doubt maybe the 1 yard made a difference, but I have my gripes with refs this year, plenty of them, but that's not one of them. Sometimes just you throw it, put your hands up and say good free kick. That's all you can really say. Second half was better. Declan Rice saved us multiple times, one with the goal, which is a great strike, and then a save that came saving tackle after a mistake by I don't remember who made the mistake, but and then also Raya saved us a lot in the second half. He made some ridiculous saves. I mean, if I thought if I had any hope, which I didn't, about the league, now it's completely gone. Just focus completely on the Champions League and just securing top two more than anything else. That's the goal, and just to get healthy again. But yeah, it wasn't great. They didn't lose, so can't be really too mad. It is what it is.
You guys almost outpassed them by 33%.
No, we had a lot of the ball, and we were on top, for a majority of the game. It's just
that's just a staggering note. You guys had 587 passes in the game. United had 275.
Hell yeah! It is what it is. That's to be expected. So I was annoyed. I would have liked to beat them because it would have been 5 straight wins against them. But also we haven't lost to them since I think 2023, if my memory serves me right. So whatever, just on to Chelsea.
And then Monday, Newcastle 1-0 win at West Ham. West Ham just couldn't help me out. Just couldn't help either of us out, Mark. Couldn't drive down the Isak price.
Did Isak score in that game? I did not watch.
Who did score for them? No, Bruno scored.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the week that was. We'll look at the table here before we look at the upcoming games. Liverpool, obviously at the top with 70 points. Arsenal with 55. Nottingham Forest with 51. Chelsea bump up to 4th with 49. Man City in 5th with 47. Newcastle in 6th with 47. Brighton in 7th with 46. Aston Villa in 8th with 45. Bournemouth with 44 there in 9th. And then rounding out the top 10 is Fulham at 42. Crystal Palace with 39. Brentford with 38. Tottenham, Man United, 34 each. Everton with 33. West Ham with 33. And Wolves at 23. And then relegation nation is Ipswich at 17. Leicester at 17. And Southampton still stuck on 9 points.
Yeah.
They'll get one more. They'll get 3 more points. I don't think they're going to be as bad as Dark. I think once they're confirmed as the relegation's confirmed, they're just going to be okay, we don't care anymore. And they'll get 1 more win.
There's a chance for them to pick up a point this week, which we'll get into. But before we get into our upcoming match week, it's brought to you by our friends over at Biñho. We love Biñho here at Top Bins. It is the next big tabletop game for your tailgates, your man caves, your she sheds, wherever you want to bring it out, the parties. You're going to be the talk of the moment when you bring out the Biñho board. It is paper football meets foosball in the next big tabletop flicking game experience. They've got officially licensed Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and Juventus boards, plus a whole slew of MLS officially licensed boards. You can create your own as well, and they have their original designs as well as merchandise, upgrades for your boards to make sure it's swagged out to the nines. Use our link in the description. Or when you go to checkout, use code Biñho Bennett 62. That's code Biñho Bennett 62 when you use our link in the description, and you'll get 10% off your entire order from our friends at Biñho. Looking ahead to the weekend, Saturday and Sunday only. No Monday game, no Friday game. It starts on Saturday, 11 a.m. block. West Ham at Everton. I mean, if I've ever seen a draw, it's right there for the taking. The way that those two teams have been playing, that just screams draw, in my opinion. And like I was saying, Southampton has a chance to secure 1 point potentially this week. They do play Wolves. I know Wolves have been a little bit better over the past month or so, but definitely an opportunity, I would say, there for Southampton to pull even and get a draw there to get their first point in quite some time. Nottingham Forest is at Ipswich. We all know everyone can beat Ipswich. Brighton is at Man City. Should be an absolute doozy of a game. That's also at 11 a.m. Then we move to 1:30, and Brentford is at Bournemouth. That is the last game on Saturday. And then Sunday, 2 games at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Chelsea at Arsenal in another top bins derby matchup. Tottenham at Fulham, also at 9:30 a.m. And then at 3 p.m. on Sunday, Man United is at Leicester City.
Yeah. I could honestly see Leicester winning that game just to fuck over United, which would be amazing.
Why is the game Leicester United game at 3 when the first 2 games are at 9:30?
That's a great question.
Because I know why. Carabao Cup finals on Sunday. That's why.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
right.
we got the 9 a.m.s, then we got the Carabao Cup final, and then we got Manchester United and Leicester.
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Because that is not a game that should be in prime time.
Carabao Cup's at 12:30.
Yeah.
And that's Liverpool, Newcastle.
Well, yeah, but also like prime time for us is like 8 p.m. for them. So
yeah,
that checks out. I mean, it's the first time you two going head to head since you've been on the show, so that should be fun. The group chat's gonna be popping.
I'm gonna talk so much shit. I'm gonna call Cole Palmer the most overrated footballer in the league.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything good, but that just means if we somehow pull off the impossible, I will be insufferable.
Yeah, but good thing you won't.
And the best part for me is I'm either going to be sitting back in my glory, or you two going at your heads is just going to be the meme of the two people fighting, and I'm just in the back with the phone recording to wallow in my sorrows. But that should be a fun matchup. I mean, Brighton, Man City, like even my fandom aside, like the way those two teams have been playing could potentially wind up being matchup of the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's at City, so it should be pretty rowdy and violent. And I mean, the way Brighton's played on the road this year.
Major implications too when it comes to top 5, top 4. Got to win.
Yeah, I mean, if Brighton pull off the win, we jump City in the standings, and we're 2 points clear of them.
Wow. Yeah. So
which would just be
need a major
incredible.
win. You need a max win.
And I think, for Brighton to win that game would be huge momentum going into FA Cup quarterfinals too.
Yes.
Being like, hey, we're beating a top club here. Get ready for the team that embarrassed us 7-0 in the FA Cup. quarterfinal against Nottingham Forest in a couple weeks and just build momentum there. Just keep building off the momentum that they've been playing with. I'm also kind of intrigued by that Brentford-Bournemouth game. I think that could be sneaky, like very messy but very fun game to watch. Fulham-Tottenham. We'll see how Fulham bounces back after losing to Brighton. But yeah, it's a smaller week, obviously with the Carabao Cup going on. And then there's a break too next week, right?
Yeah, it's an international break.
International break next week.
We
So
haven't had an international
We
break.
might take a little break on the podcast then because there's nothing going to be going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we'll figure out something fun to just bullshit around and do some fun shit with it, but no games next week. But yeah, it should be a fun match weekend. Obviously Carabao Cup final in there as well, which will be a ton of fun. Smack dab in the middle of Sunday's action to kind of carry over from the Top Bins derby as well. But yeah, Prem action should be fun. I'm looking forward to what should be a massive, massive game against Man City, and then watching you two just go at each other's necks.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I'll also be exhausted because I'll be up watching Formula One. So
what time is that?
First race is at midnight on Sunday.
Because it's Australia. Speaking of, go listen to the new episode of Underground Circuit, our motorsports podcast. They just did a whole preview for Australia and the 2025 season. Shout out to Casey and Owen. They do a kick-ass job, so definitely go listen to that. That's out now. But let's switch over to Champions League as round of 16 in the books. It's brought to you by our friends over at Paramount Plus. Guys, don't miss any more of the what are you doing if you're not watching Champions League on Paramount Plus? You're missing out on all the action. Paramount Plus is the home for Champions League football. It's one of my favorite places to watch not only just live sports because the broadcast is great, the clarity of the broadcast is pristine, but also just their back catalog of movies and shows is truly best bang for your buck across the streaming platforms that are available to you. Plus, you get Champions League out there. You're going to get some March Madness on Paramount Plus as well. So don't miss a single second of the remaining games of the Champions League. Use our link in the description. Sign up for Paramount Plus today, and they'll know you're coming from us because you're using our link. So sign up for Paramount Plus using our link in the description. Don't miss out on any of the Champions League action. Plus, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Carabao Cup will also be on Paramount Plus as well. So don't miss out on any of the action, as well as March Madness for all of our friends here in the States. You can watch a whole ton of March Madness on Paramount Plus. Sign up today using our link in the description and get started with our friends at Paramount Plus. Champions League, baby. It's in the books. We have the draws, but looking at leg 2 of the round of 16, Barcelona does their thing against Benfica, 3-1 win, 4-1 on aggregate. They're advancing. Inter takes care of business and is still holding down things for SerieA. They win 2-1 home to Feyenoord. Start packing the buses. Liverpool, bye-bye. It's over.
Yeah.
They lose on penalties, 4-1 on penalties. And PSG knock the Titans that are Liverpool out of the Champions League.
Yeah, I don't know about you two, but I watched both legs. I think overall PSG deserved to go through. Especially in the first leg, they got very unlucky. I thought they dominated. I thought in the beginning of like the first. Kyle, can you check what minute Dembele scored?
Yeah.
It was late. Let me pull that up.
12th minute?
12?
Okay. So then like
I thought it was late.
Yeah, it was early. I do think like in the first 15 or like 20, 30 minutes, I I thought Liverpool were on top, and I thought, all right, they'll get a goal and basically like put this tie away, or just not put it away, but like make it tie. And then Salah missed like two pretty good chances. Hashtag washed. And but no, I thought PSG were better. And then as soon as it got to extra time, I thought PSG just were just better, and they benefited from that rest that Luis Enrique did for over the League One. I thought Slot should have rotated his team more against Southampton. And then the penalties, yeah. Donnarumma comes back to England and haunts English side once again.
I mean, you take a look at the first leg between them, and it was clear that PSG were just the better team overall. You have 27 shots, 10 of them on target. Their pass accuracy was 90% out of 693 passes compared to Liverpool's 295. 71% of the possession. This was a match they wanted to come back and win, and they did exactly that. Now, Alisson had a great round against PSG. He faced 18 shots altogether, only conceded 1 goal in regulation. But the better team definitely deserved to win. And I was thinking of the previous leg when I said late goal, because it was Harvey Elliott real late last time. But
so Liverpool knocked out. Liverpool is done. The treble hopes are gone, and PSG advance. Bayern advance. They win 2-0 against Leverkusen. I feel great. I was the only team that picked Bayern in our predictions. So yes. That's a good win for your boy. Dortmund knock out Lille 2-1. Advance 3-2 on aggregate.
It was a fun match. I don't think either of those teams have enough in them to really go far in the Champions League, but for what it was, they both put up fun showings. And now Dortmund has the privilege to get their asses beat by Barcelona.
Aston Villa just continues to flip us off in every way possible. They win 3-0 over Club Brugge. Club Brugge picked up a red card in this one as well. Villa advanced 6-1 on aggregate as well. And Mark, the floor is yours. A nice little 2-2 draw. Get the boys who don't get that big-time stage some playing time. A 9-3 aggregate for your Arsenal squad here. Talk to me about what you saw from the boys that typically don't get this playing time.
I thought they were fine. It was hilarious seeing Tierney play left wing. I'm going to miss him when he goes back to Celtic. It's a shame that it just didn't work out with all the injuries. I was happy for Sterling too. Thought he played well. Got 2 assists, so hopefully just toward the last 2 months or so, he can just get some momentum playing because we'll need him. I like that he rotated the squad for the most part. Gave players that needed the fitness. Martinelli came on in the second half, but Ben White played the entire game. I was happy that he rested. There were some players that if they got a yellow card, then they would have missed the first leg of the next round. So he didn't play. Well, he brought on Timber. I think he was one of them, but he was smart with everything. No, it was just my biggest concern was, hey, just no one get hurt, and we're through. And that's what happened. Drew 2-2. No one got hurt. Bring on Real.
Yep.
And then Real Madrid. Speaking of advance.
Devil magic, baby.
Devil magic. Atleti put up such a good fight, but they can never seem to beat Real when it comes when it matters most. They've lost multiple times in Champions League finals to them. They've lost multiple times.
I have a great analogy. In the Champions League, Real are the Chiefs and Atleti are the Bills.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Holy shit. That is so spot on. I'm pissed at myself for not thinking about that. That's so spot on.
So,
Yeah, they are always Atleti are right there. They're always right there with Real. They'll play them so close, and then devil magic takes them out.
and like they can beat them in the league or other
Yeah,
competitions, but not in
I
the
mean,
Champions
what
League.
Atleti won the league? What 2 years ago?
Yes,
Yeah. So they can get trophies,
or
but
three,
Antoine,
because I think 2 years ago was Barca, last year was Real.
I think yeah, you're right. It was 3 years ago. At time it was a flat circle.
Correct.
But no, Griezmann just really needs to get the monkey off his back of beating Real in the Champions League, or else I don't know. Even with a World Cup, like it's gonna be hard to shake this feeling that his career is fully complete.
He won a World Cup. I think he's
He
fine.
won a World Cup, but it's like Zlatan. You need the Champions League too.
Well,
Well,
no, but
Zlatan
that's different.
anything.
That's different because Zlatan played in a country that was never going to win a World Cup or
Yeah,
Euros. Like
that's
they
very
won the
true.
World Cup. I think he's pretty set.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we have the draws. Do we want to do our predictions this week, or do we want to save
No,
them?
let's wait until like the week before the matchup because you never know with injuries and stuff.
Yeah, we also don't have times yet, but we do have the draws.
Now we have the times.
Do we?
They're both games will be played at 4 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have it loaded up.
I think it was announced today.
Oh, okay.
Let me just double check. Oh, it says TBD, but like on the UEFA the UEFA press release that they sent out to all the reporters, it was like all games will be played at 2100 CET.
Okay.
So
so we do have them. Mark, how do you feel about getting the home game first?
I would have preferred the second game home at first. Personally, I think if you're gonna finish top 8, then that should be a reward. But whatever. If they thought Simeone was a terrible low block, wait until they face an Arteta haram ball when we play 10 men behind the ball. And I'll give initial thoughts about Real Madrid. I wanted this, to be honest. I did not want to play Atletico. I wanted Real because for a long time, Arsenal were not amongst the big boys. I guess we made the Champions League constantly, but like once we sold all our best players, once we were funding our stadium and everything, we weren't there. And then we spent a while without Champions League football, and we're finally back. Like, you want to be amongst the big boys? This is what I got to do, and I want to play against the big games. And there's no bigger game in Champions League than facing Real Madrid. So fuck it, we ball. I will say,
also, not to cut you off, I was going to say, it just popped in my head too, where like you said, it should be a reward for finishing top 8. It should also be a reward from the previous leg, having the best like aggregate overall score.
that too, but then, like you never know with that. So, and also like I will say, like with Saka, I think we have a shot. And I have my thoughts, but it'll be a good litmus test to see like what we need to be, what we need like to do to improve the squad just to beat them. And I have my take on the Arsenal squad, but I'll say that for offline. But yeah, fuck it, we both bring them on. I want to play Real.
So it'll be Real Madrid at Arsenal on April 8th. Inter at Bayern is one of the other draws. Dortmund at Barcelona, and then Aston Villa at PSG. I want to say you did say it, Harrison. I was going to say Villa kind of, we'll see, but they'll probably pull their Villa magic that they've been pulling on us. But Dortmund definitely, I think, gets the short draw in terms of just like talent wise and ability to advance. That does suck to pull that draw, but Does PSG have what it takes to finally put an end to our Aston Villa nightmares?
Yes.
I agree. I think PSG might be one of the teams to beat this year in the Champions League. They looked phenomenal against Liverpool recently. They've played really well in the group stage. I think they have what it takes to maybe go on a run here. We'll have to see. But they definitely had a more favorable draw than, say, the Inters, the Bayerns, Arsenal, Barcelona. I mean, Barcelona got probably the second most favorable draw out of all of them, but PSG are looking like they have what it takes to keep moving on.
Should be fun. And we'll do our predictions. But to recap our predictions from the round of 16, Mark, you did have Villa advancing. You had Real Madrid advance. You had Arsenal advancing. You did have Lille. You had Inter advance. You had Leverkusen. You had Barcelona. And you had Liverpool. Not too shabby. Harrison, you had Club Brugge. You did have Real Madrid. You had PSV. You had Dortmund. You had Dortmund. You had Inter. You also had Leverkusen. You had Barcelona, and you had Liverpool. I also had Club Brugge, Real Madrid. I had Arsenal. I had Dortmund. I had Inter. It was the only one that took Bayern. I had Barcelona, and I also had Liverpool.
Yeah.
Overall, if we're talking aggregate for the entire pod, I wouldn't say, but some people are saying we know ball.
Except for Harrison, he chose PSG.
Well, because I had to be a hater. And
yeah, you can be a hater, but you also don't have to be a dumbass.
Yeah.
my Bayern pick just like leveled things out there.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we will do predictions again for the remaining rounds of Champions League once it seems fit, obviously, on the pod, but some good stuff there in the initial round of 16. And speaking of brackets and all that good stuff, I do want to mention here Underground Madness, our annual March Madness NCAA college basketball extravaganza that we do here at the company is back once again, and we're not doing it alone this time. We have a presenting partner for Underground Madness, and that is our friends at FOCO. They loved our pitch, they loved the concept, and they are on board with us the entirety of the tournament season. FOCO is the number one place for your forever collectibles, from apparel, merchandise. They have some of the coolest stuff in the game. They also have officially licensed MLS product on their website. Use our link in the description. Check out everything that FOCO has to offer on their website. And they hooked this up with a promo code now. So when you go to check out, use code Underground10 and you'll get 10% off your entire order from our friends at FOCO. So use our link in the description, and when you check out, use code Underground10 and you'll get 10% off your next order from our friends at FOCO. And Underground Madness is presented by FOCO. Guys, are the Union just gonna go the whole way?
Tyberiba Golden Boot season. I'm telling you, I was the reason. Sorry, Dewani and I were the reason we fixed them.
Like, they're playing out of their minds, and I love every second of it. Obviously, a team like New England, like, you're supposed to beat them like that. So great win for our Union.
Yes.
But you play Nashville on Sunday to add to what should be a beautiful Sunday of footy across the board. Harrison and I brought this up on the main pod, Mark. I said it even before the Cincinnati game happened. I said the pocket of games between New England, Nashville, and St. Louis, like, the Union should easily go 3-0 in those. I said you take Cincinnati for what it is. They end up winning that one in dominant fashion, obviously because you were in attendance. You beat Orlando City the way you did. You wait until you see who's actually going to play for Inter Miami. Like, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if the Union are able to finish the month of March undefeated.
Yeah. Hell, maybe they finish the month of April undefeated too. Who knows?
Okay. I mean, they're their April schedule is relatively favorable as well. Like, you get a rematch with Orlando City early on, this time in Philly. You're at New York City on April 12th. You're home to Atlanta on April 19th. And then you're home to DC United, who's probably the best team that you'll play in the month of April.
Yeah.
Very favorable schedule to start the season.
And they're fun. They're young. The manager seems like he knows what he's doing. And who knows? Maybe this is a bounce back year after the dog shit that was last year.
I think my only, and it's not even like I'm concerned, my only like hesitancy is like the stuff that I've seen people who are like on the Union beat that I trust and respect their opinions a ton, is just seeing a ton about our new manager and how he likes to just run the shit out of his guys for an entire game. Not that I'm like concerned, but I'm just hoping like he has that recovery plan and everything in place for them, because the MLS season is so fucking long now that you don't want to see guys get worn out. And I was like thinking about, I was like, I just hope he's not like the Tom Thibodeau of the MLS, where he's running guys for an entire season, playoffs roll around, and then they're gassed. But obviously another benefit is the Union aren't playing in any other, cups or offshoot, type things outside of just their MLS schedule this year because of how bad last year was. So that's a benefit. But I just hope that, there is that plan in place to kind of, have guys on a rest and recovery regimen throughout the season, because of how long it is, that they're not worn out once the playoffs roll around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right. I said it. I said playoffs because I think they're going to the playoffs.
We're talking about playoffs. At least one team in Philadelphia right now can be talking about playoffs, apart from the Eagles, who are Super Bowl champions.
That's all that matters, baby.
That's right. Sir. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds all day. So yeah, Union, part of the Sunday extravaganza of footy that we have in between the early games of Premier League action, Carabao Cup, then you get the Union, and then you get that final Premier League game at 3:00 as well. So Sunday's jam-packed.
Sunday's Monday.
And I figure, why not? We're all Union fans, so we'll talk a little Union to round out each show every week on here. We'll let you guys know what our plan is. We'll conjure up some ideas for next week, see what makes sense, just to keep the ball rolling and have content coming out for you guys. But that's a major reason why you got to follow us on the socials. It's at FC Top Bins on Twitter and TikTok, and at Top Bins Pod on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of Top Bins every week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, including our Selection Sunday stream presented by FOCO, Sunday, 6 Eastern for the men's. We're bleeding it into the women's bracket announcement as well. So we'll be live all Sunday night for you. Should be a doozy of a time, so definitely tune in for that. Once all the Premier League, MLS, and Carabao Cup action is over, you'll have us to tune into on our YouTube channel starting at 6 p.m. With the men's Selection Sunday live stream following up with the women's. So subscribe to the YouTube. And this has been another episode of Top Bins. We will let you guys know the plan for next week, have some fun stuff coming out for you. And you can join our Underground Madness Bracket Challenge. It's linked in the description. It's in our link tree as well. So get in on the fun. Mark will be in it. Harrison will be in it. I'm in it. Compete against your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia personalities. It's open to the public, so anybody can join. And shout out to FOCO once again. And we will see you guys on the next one. But until then, enjoy the weekend of the beautiful game. And as we always say, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.